Her name was Zara. A woman shaped by the crucible of tragedy dismantles the empire and spirit of the man who shattered her world, wielding his own ambition as her tool of vengeance. After a savage assault by her husband robs her of their unborn daughter, a brilliant Laros architect methodically constructs the downfall of his legacy and his soul, demonstrating that true retribution is justice delivered with chilling precision. The rain fell gently, a soft, rhythmic patter against the glass, mirroring the cadence of the tiny life stirring within her. Nia rested her palm against the cold window pane. 25 floors above the glistening, rain-slicked streets of Echo Atlantic. Far below, the headlights on the Lekki Ikoi link bridge smeared into long, radiant trails, a river of light cutting through the Laros night. She traced a single raindrop's jagged path down the glass. Another kick, stronger now, a private code shared only with her. A genuine smile lit her face, softening the weary lines etched by a long day of site visits, builder disputes, and charming investors. But this quiet moment, suspended between the storm outside and the serene elegance of their penthouse, was her reward, their sanctuary. The elevator hummed its soft melody, signaling his return. Ethan, her Ethan. He entered, shedding the weight of the day like a cloak. Even exhausted, he was striking his suit impeccable, shoulders broad, carrying the scent of triumph and costly cologne. His leather briefcase landed with a muted thud on the marble floor. "There's my girl," he said, his voice a deep, warm growl. He crossed the expansive living room, his steps hushed on the plush rug, and wrapped his arms around her waist, resting his chin on her shoulder. Together, they gazed out at the city they were conquering, project by bold project. "We did it, love," he murmured, his breath hot against her ear. "The Ikoi Tower deal. Sealed this afternoon." Nia leaned into him, her body fitting perfectly against his. "I knew you'd pull it off. Doubt me, with you by my side?" "Never." He pressed a possessive kiss to her neck, his hand sliding to her rounded belly. "How's our little heir holding up?" "Kicking up a storm." "She's practicing for the World Cup," Nia teased, her hand covering his. Ethan corrected with a gentle chuckle, a boy to carry the name. She didn't argue, it was their playful ritual. Boy or girl, it didn't matter. This child was their everything, the pinnacle of their love, their ambition, their ascent. 5 years ago, they'd met at a real estate conference, two driven outsiders with grand dreams. Her grandmother's inheritance had given them their start, a risky plot of land in Lekki that paid off spectacularly. Thus, Aura Properties was born his charisma, her vision, his charm, her steady brilliance. They were Laros Real Estate's golden duo. "Come on," Ethan said, turning her from the window. "You need rest. You're pushing too hard." "I'm fine, Ethan. Pregnancy isn't an illness." "You're carrying my son," he said firmly, his tone leaving no room for debate. "My legacy, nothing matters more." He led her to the bedroom, his words brimming with devotion, though a faint unease flickered in her. She dismissed it. This is just his love, she thought. His protection. This was the beautiful cage they'd built together, and in this moment, its bars felt like an embrace. The rain pounded harder outside, but within, all was tranquil, flawless. Yet, perfection began to fracture in subtle ways, almost imperceptible at first. A stray comment, a decision made without her input. Ethan started referring to Aura Properties as my company in interviews, tossing her a nod as the heart of our home. She brushed it off as posturing, but the phrase crept into their private life. "I took care of it," he'd say dismissively when she inquired about a permit she'd labored over. In his sleek home office, with its dark wood and smoked glass overlooking the lagoon, she spread out her initial sketches for the Echo Pearl Tower. He didn't glance at them, engrossed in his phone. "It's my job to worry about it, Ethan," she said evenly. "I'm a partner, remember? My name's on the company documents, on the deeds, bought with my inheritance," she thought, but didn't say. He looked up, irritation flashing, as if she were a child interrupting him. "Nia, you're pregnant. The baby's your focus now. Let me handle the stress. It's my role to provide, to protect. My work doesn't stress me. I love it. And it's our company, Ethan, ours." He sighed theatrically, rising to take her hands, his grip too firm. "Of course, my love. But things are different now. The stakes are higher. These people we deal with, they're cutthroat. I just want you and our son safe." His words were honeyed, but the subtext was clear. Stay in your place. And her place was shrinking daily. He began questioning her late nights, once shared over cheap coffee and big dreams, now deemed suspicious. "Who were you with?" He'd probe, scanning her face for deceit. "The engineers, Ethan. We've been over this. The marina site report came in. We're redesigning the foundation. You could have called me. They could have emailed it. I'm the lead architect. I had to be there." His jaw would tighten, his silence heavy with unspoken accusations. He started checking her phone when he thought she was asleep, his silhouette hunched over the glowing screen. The first time she confronted him, "What are you doing?" He fumbled, dropping the phone. "Nothing. Couldn't sleep. Checking the markets." A flimsy lie, and they both knew it. The air thickened with his unvoiced suspicions. The man she loved, her partner in life and ambition, was searching for betrayal in a room bathed in light. He was brewing his own poison and expecting her to drink it. The cracks in their perfect world widened, threatening to shatter everything. Tund Balagan was the other developer, born into an old-money Ecoy family, the kind who never earned their wealth. His company was a Titan Aura Properties had been challenging. There was no animosity on Nia's part, just professional respect, a rivalry that sharpened her edge. Tund recognized her talent, and their shared time on a city planning committee sparked lively debates she cherished. The text that changed everything was harmless. It arrived on a Tuesday night as she massaged her aching back, reviewing blueprints. "Heard you landed the Echo Pearl contract. Beat us fair and square. Drinks to celebrate next time I see you." "Well done," and she smiled, typing a quick reply. "Thanks, Tund. Tough fight. Talk soon." She set her phone down, thinking nothing of it. Ethan came home hours later, seething over a failed deal, pacing and ranting about bureaucrats and red tape. Nia listened, trying to soothe him, brewing tea in the kitchen. Then an eerie silence fell. She returned to find him by the coffee table, her phone in hand, his face dark as a storm. "What is this?" he asked, his voice dangerously low. He held up the screen, Tund's text glaring. "It's nothing, Ethan. Tund Balagan from Balagan Holdings, congratulating us on Echo Pearl. They were our main competitor. Drinks to celebrate," he mocked, voice shrill. "Professional courtesy? Exactly. It's just what people say. Courtesy." He stepped closer, eyes blazing with a manic intensity. "How long has this been going on?" Her heart raced. "Nothing's going on. We're colleagues, rivals even." Rivals with cute nicknames. Rivals who call you N. His accusations spiraled, immune to her calm rebuttals. I see how you laugh at his jokes at events. You think I'm blind? I'm polite to a colleague, Ethan. You're twisting this into something vile. Her anger rose, fueled by his betrayal of trust. How dare you accuse me while I'm carrying your child? She gestured to her belly, proof of her devotion. But to him, it was no longer their shared dream. It was evidence of her treachery. My child, he spat, venomous. Are you sure it's mine? The words hung, toxic and unforgivable, draining the air from the room. Nia felt as if he'd struck her. That lie, that single lie, ignited the fuse. The rain that night was ferocious, hammering the penthouse windows, the wind wailing in mournful harmony. Take it back, Ethan, Nia whispered, her voice raw with rising fury. Take it back. Why? It all fits your late nights, your secret smiles at your phone. You've built a sick fantasy, and you're dragging me into it. I'm your wife, carrying our child. Don't burn our life down over your insecurities. Insecure? He laughed, a harsh, bitter sound, and lunged toward her, his shadow looming. I gave you everything, this life, this home. I made you. And you repay me by sneaking around with that rich bastard? You gave me nothing I didn't earn tenfold, she shouted, her voice rising above the storm. This company was built with my money, my designs, my sweat. We made each other, and you're forgetting that. He grabbed her arm, fingers biting into her skin. Tell me the truth, Nia, just once. I am telling the truth. She cried, wrenching free. Let go, you're hurting me. His face was inches from hers, eyes wild. Is it his? He snarled, glaring at her belly. Is it his child? It's yours, you monster. Ours. Her scream tore through the room as she slapped him, the sharp crack silencing them both. A red mark bloomed on his cheek. His eyes widened, then emptied, the last shred of the man she knew snapping. Without a word, he drew back his leg and, with all his rage and paranoia, kicked her in the stomach. The pain was blinding, a searing explosion that stole her breath. She gasped, a wet, choking sound, her hands flying to her belly too late. She stumbled, staring down at the dark stain spreading across her cream dress, a crimson bloom in the storm's heart. Her scream, raw with horror, was swallowed by the howling wind as darkness claimed her. White. Everything was white ceiling, sheets, walls, the hue of absence, of ghosts. Nia drifted through a haze of painkillers and a deeper, untouchable grief. Whispers reached her, faint voices, the steady beep of machines clashing with her fractured heart. Fragments of memory returned, the warm, terrifying slickness between her legs, the frantic ambulance ride through rain-drenched streets, its siren wailing, masked faces peering down with pity, Ethan's pale, horrified face calling her name, or perhaps she imagined it. A doctor, kind but weary, held her hand, her words gentle but crushing. We did everything we could, Mrs. Adebayo. Internal bleeding forced an emergency hysterectomy to save you. I'm so sorry the baby, your daughter, didn't survive. Daughter. The word echoed in the vast void within her, where yesterday there had been life, kicks, dreams of tiny hands, a future. Now only silence, a deafening, crushing absence where a heartbeat belonged. She'd named her Zara, a secret whispered to her belly in the night, meaning star. Her star extinguished before it could shine. The physical pain throbbed, a constant reminder of his violence, but it paled against the emptiness. Grief was a tangible weight, pressing her chest, coiling coldly where her daughter once lived. Ethan waited outside, playing the grieving husband, claiming she'd fallen on the slick marble floor, a believable lie from a skilled liar. She refused to see him. His face, his voice, his touch made her sick. The love that had been her world was incinerated in one brutal act, replaced by a growing ember of hatred, a spark in her grief. Lying in that sterile room, staring at the blank ceiling, she nurtured it with memories of his control, his dismissals, his accusations, the ghost of her daughter's kicks, her own scream. The pain didn't break her, it forged her, sharpening her into something unyielding. Her purpose crystallized. She wouldn't just survive or heal. She would make him feel a fraction of her pain. She'd strip his empire, his hope, his future, leaving him with a silence that would scream forever. Closing her eyes, she saw not blood but a blueprint, a plan for his destruction. The world returned in sharp, painful clarity. The clatter of a hospital tray, the antiseptic smell, sunlight too harsh. For 2 weeks, Nia was a specter, eating and sleeping on command. Her mother hovering with worried eyes, fussing over pillows and fruit, her soothing voice barely registering. Ethan sent flowers gaudy, funeral-like bouquets she had nurses discard without reading the cards and messages through her mother, pleading for forgiveness. "He's broken, Nia," her mother said. "He sits outside your door, crying." "Good," Nia replied, her voice flat. Her mother recoiled at the coldness, seeing a stranger in her daughter's haunted eyes. The shift came on a Thursday. A nurse changed the dressing on her stomach, revealing a jagged red scar, a map of his violence. Staring at it, Nia felt not just pain but a surge of icy clarity. This wasn't her shame, it was his. This emptiness wasn't her weakness, it was her weapon. That afternoon, she sat up straighter. "Mama, I need something." In my study, bottom desk drawer, a black portfolio with a silver clasp. "Bring it, and don't let Ethan see." Her mother, sensing a spark of the old Nia, nodded without questions. When the portfolio arrived, Nia waited until she was alone. Her hands trembled as she opened it, revealing the foundation of their life. Aura Properties documents, occupancy certificates, the CFO, deeds for their first projects, the penthouse all in her name, Nia Adebayo, her maiden name, from before their marriage. In his arrogance, assuming her a docile partner, Ethan had made a fatal error. He'd never seen her as a threat, never imagined the woman he viewed as an accessory could orchestrate his ruin. A cold smile curved her lips, alien on her face. He'd handed her the keys to his kingdom, unaware. She wasn't a broken ghost. She was a specter ready to haunt. The game had begun. Leaving the hospital felt like surfacing from a deep dive. The air was too thin, the Laros traffic too loud. Ethan waited at the entrance, gaunt and desperate, rushing toward her. Her mother tensed, holding her arm. Nia stepped back, her voice slicing the humid air. "Don't touch me." His hands fell, pain flashing in his eyes, and a small, cruel part of her savored it. "Let's go home, baby," he begged. "Let me fix this. You'll drive me to my mother's, then you'll leave." The ride to Ikoi was silent, suffocating. Ethan's knuckles white on the Range Rover's wheel, their Range Rover for now. At her mother's, Nia rebuilt her strength in the small garden, sunlight warming her skin while her mind pored over the portfolio's fine print. She charted his betrayal, side deals, shell companies siphoning funds, personal accounts she hadn't known existed. He'd been stealing from their company, her company, for over a year. Each discovery was a nail in his coffin, her grief for Zara fueling her vengeance. His daily calls and texts, dripping with apologies, were data points now. She wasn't his wife anymore, she was a scientist, and he was her subject, writhing under her lens. She needed a weapon, a lawyer, ruthless and discreet. She recalled Bizola, a fixer whispered about in Ikoi, a woman who buried opponents. It was time to call. Bizola's office, in a colonial building hidden by bougainvillea, was cool, dark, and scented with old books and lemon polish. No degrees adorned the walls, only striking Nigerian art. Bizola, a petite woman in her late 50s, her graying afro sharp and chic, listened silently as Nia recounted everything, sliding the portfolio across the desk. "This is the proof," Nia said steadily. "His financial crimes and my ownership of the key assets." Bizola reviewed the documents, her keen eyes missing nothing. "He's a fool," she said simply. "Arrogance is always the costliest flaw." Closing the portfolio, she asked, "What do you want, Miss Adebayo?" Nia corrected her name, then outlined her vision. Not just divorce or settlement, but annihilation. "I want his company, his home, his reputation. I want him haunted by what he did, living in a prison of his own making." She detailed her psychological strategy, using his paranoia against him, creating a world of imagined betrayals. Biz's eyes gleamed with interest. "This is war," she said softly. "It'll be costly and ugly." "I have the money," Nia replied, "and no limits for ugly." Biz's thin, predatory smile sealed their pact. The first seed was sown 2 weeks later. Following Bizola's guidance, Nia sent a text from a burner phone at 11:30 p.m. "She's a fighter. You almost ruined everything. Stay away. She's with me now." She pictured Ethan's rage, his mind leaping to Tun Balagan. His furious messages flooded her phone the next morning, her silence nurturing his paranoia. Next, a florist delivered orchids to Aura Properties, the card's bold script reading, "For the one who got away. Your brilliance matches your beauty." No signature, but Ethan's assistant ensured he saw it, sparking office whispers. Nia toyed with his schedule-vague dinner entries at upscale hotels, deleted just in time to fuel his doubts. A waiter, mistakenly, billed him for champagne, implying a mysterious man with a beautiful woman. These small pricks fed his paranoia, turning him jumpy, erratic, a man haunted by ghosts she conjured. At the Laros Property Gala, Bizola's actors struck. A Mollywood actress in a red dress embraced Ethan, loudly referencing a fictional Dubai weekend. "Don't be mean, Ethan, not after what we shared." His denials only fueled the gossip. Ethan Adebayo, cheating on his grieving wife. A distinguished man later praised Ethan's discreet Paris haunts, leaving investors wary. Gossip blogs, fed by Bizola's tips, exploded. Lagos mogul's marriage crumbles amid infidelity. Ethan's paranoia became a public spectacle, alienating allies as he chased phantom rivals, blind to the real threat. While he unraveled, Nia, as majority shareholder, called an emergency board meeting. Bizola timed it perfectly, giving Ethan no preparation. In the boardroom, Nia, in a sharp black suit, faced his hateful glare. She presented his fraud fake companies, siphoned funds, unauthorized loans with clinical precision. His denials crumbled against undeniable evidence. The board's vote of no confidence was unanimous, stripping him of his titles. He was left a shell, alone in the glass-walled room he'd built. At the penthouse, new locks barred him, a restraining order and eviction notice delivered by a court server. His empire company, home, cars, art was hers now, dismantled with surgical efficiency. Days later, his accounts frozen, cars repossessed, art sold. Ethan was a pariah, shunned by former allies. He sold his prized watch to afford a grimy mainland hotel, consumed by paranoia, seeing Nia's hand in every misfortune. He was right, but the truth was worse than his fantasies. He believed he was punished for imagined affairs, not the murder of their child. Months passed. Legas forgot Ethan Adebayo, a cautionary tale. In a dilapidated Surulere apartment, he wasted away, haunted by imagined conspiracies, blind to the real one. Nia's face on Aura Properties billboards, now thriving under her leadership, mocked him. Nightmares of her scream, his kick, the blood, broke through, but he clung to his accident lie, unable to face his monstrosity. An invitation arrived, a white card with an IJ warehouse address. Desperate for a lifeline, he arrived in a clean shirt, hope flickering. Inside the vast, black-painted warehouse, Nia waited, a vision in white, radiating untouchable power. "This is my project," she said, "a training center for kids, building futures from ruins." She circled him, unraveling her plan. The actress, the texts, the flowers, his financial ruin, all her design. "You never saw me as a partner, only a tool. That was your mistake." His world collapsed as she revealed the truth. "This isn't about the company or money," she said, her voice breaking with grief. "This is about her. You kicked me and killed our daughter, Zara. Her name was Zara Star. You extinguished her, and there's no forgiveness." Holding a tiny wooden elephant meant for Zara's nursery, she delivered her final blow. "You'll live with her name, haunted by your own ghosts in a prison you built." She walked away, leaving him shattered in the empty warehouse. Back at the penthouse, Nia gazed at the rain-washed city, the Lakey Ecoy link bridge's lights blurring. The silence was peace now, a debt paid. The wooden elephant rested in a velvet box, a quiet memorial. The emptiness remained, but its edges had softened, a space for Zara alone. Forged in loss, Nia Adebayo stood unbroken, sole owner of her future, watching the storm fade.